Hi guys, welcome to my first day of my second tournament over the board. It's day one. It was day one, 22nd of July of my second over the board tournament. It's a 9-day tournament. This is the first day, one game a day, no breaks in between. 90 minutes for the first 40 moves, 30 seconds increment, additional 30 minutes after move 40. So let's see what happens. I was playing with white. So that normally means I'm trying to play the Jibaba London. So d4, and he's coming in with the Caro-Kann, I suspected, and he did. So I don't think the Jibaba London really works against this, but I had some tricks up my sleeve. By the way, I was playing a 1624 rated person. I have now figured out how it works, because last tournament I straight away got paired with quite a high opponent, whilst there were lower opponents available. But apparently in the Swiss style tournament, which is like what most FIDE tournaments are like, the bottom half is paired with the top half in the first round. So it's normal if you're lower rated in the bottom part that you're being paired with a quite high opponent for your for where you are at the moment. It's just the way it is. Seems a bit unfair, but then again, I don't know. Who am I to to challenge it? I mean, this is just the way it is. Anyway, so paired with 1624. So I've been able to draw or win against these, but more often than not, I lose against them. Yeah, it's just not where I'm at the moment. So he brings the bishop out also, bring the pawn out, and just I wanted to prevent the bishop from coming in, and because I wanted to have maybe like an attack on the king side and castle queen side. So I don't want the bishop then to ruin my pawn structure. Come here and take my knight, and having to figure out what to do with it. And this is where he made the first mistake. We're equal here, and he's slightly behind here. And this is Jibaba London still, so it does still work against the Caro-Kann, because now you're attacking the bishop. It's defended twice, attacked twice, but that means that yeah, you're not gonna make it. I did consider a couple of things here that he might be doing. I thought maybe he's gonna trade off the rooks first, which takes away a defender of this pawn. So what I was thinking, maybe he goes like this. Okay, so it was a mistake indeed, because then I thought like I can take this. Then I thought like he needs to go back. Yeah, first I was a bit worried he could check me, but it's defended by the queen. So then he would have to go back. And yeah, so he wisely didn't do that. He stepped away. This is the Jibaba London pawn push. I'm threatening to grab trap the bishop. So there's two moves. Well, apparently there's three moves. You could still take this. Yeah, I think that's right. And according to this computer, I waited a little bit too long to take the bishop. But I learned that it's better to push this pawn first, have him provoke him to push this pawn, and then take the bishop, because then he takes. You'll see what happens. So my opponent didn't do it the best thing. He kind of fell for my trap, and now I'm actually well up. I'm nearly 2 points up, because then I can take the bishop. He retakes, and I attack the pawn, and it would come with a check. So it would mean that the king loses castling rights. So he can do two things. He can put the king here, lose castling rights, or as my opponent did, defend the pawn with the knight. But you really don't want to go there, because you want to castle and get the hell out of any danger. And then I started to kind of fall apart because I was trying to think too much maybe on the attack side. I was thinking I need to get like another attacker in, and in order to push this pawn, uh, I need to have my rooks connected. Because if I do it now, it takes and I cannot retake because then it'd be losing a rook. Um, and obviously I was trying to think of how can I put another defender attacker on this pawn together with the bishop. And I thought like I need to castle first. And I just stepped into the wrong direction with my queen. Stockfish recommends actually go here. Uh, this would have been, I think, a pretty okay option. Maybe even push the pawn before you step out of the way. But I don't know why I didn't look at it, but I just stepped into the wrong direction. And this pawn is just hanging. And it's hard to keep up a poker face when you made a mistake. But I think I did quite nicely. And I thought like, okay, hang on, if he takes, I can challenge the knight. And even if he defends, I might push the pawn and make him go away again. And then I have like a check. And then with the rook, and maybe get some counterplay, castle, and get my other rook involved. But it was just all a bit too slow. He took, this isn't actually the right move because this pawn is only defended once now. And it was defended, so I should have just taken the loss and defend this pawn with the bishop. And then maybe push the pawn and get rid of the knight. Yeah, because I was just too much focus on attacking. I was thinking, okay, I made a mistake. Now I need to go full in, guns blazing, and like get this pawn, make him lose castling rights, and maybe bring in my cavalry and go for attack. I'm normally more of a defensive player, but now I was well oriented on the offense, and that was kind of my mistake. Because he can actually block the knight, and now I can't protect this pawn twice any longer. Yes, I can go back, but then he just takes it, and I take the bishop, and then he comes in with his queen, which I obviously don't want. And here I made a second mistake. It's just all just lack of experience, I suppose. I pushed the pawn. I thought like if he takes, I can block it with the bishop, and then he takes and I take, and then he needs to make up his mind. But what I failed to notice is that he can just bring his queen in, attacking my pinned rook. And I was really getting a little bit frustrated with myself because I had such a nice opening. It was nearly 2 points up. I thought like maybe I can stunt, or at least get like a draw. That was my hope. And I failed to notice here the way to defend my rook. I thought I can only defend my rook with my queen, but Stockfish actually recommends going here with the knight, defending the rook, and keep defending this pawn. And so now the knight needs to move, and then you can castle and bring in another rook and go for an attack. And I think Stockfish actually says in this position, black is a little bit better, but not a lot. But I didn't do this. I failed to notice that my knight could protect. I've heard this thing many times before that a lot of players, whether you're attacking or defending, somehow have difficulties considering that the knight can move back. So like this is like a backward move. And it's kind of something a little bit hard to wrap your head around apparently. And that's what I figured out today. So I didn't see this, so I defended the pawn, my rook with the queen, and obviously hanging this pawn. And also being with a tempo on the queen. So now I need to step back, and he just not only just brings back his the knight, but also attacks my rook. So I pretty much only have one option, and that's yeah, get rid of the knight. But you don't really want to trade down when you're down in material. I'm 3 pawns down. So this is really something you don't want to do. And now, before obviously I can't move my rook, so I need to castle first, or somehow get my rook out of the pin. And this seems to be the safest option. And obviously, the threat is not over, because I constantly was thinking, like, okay, so I lost a bunch of pawns, but at least by doing so, this file is open, and then maybe I can create an attack. But it doesn't really work like that against an opponent with 1624 rating. Yeah, I was thinking he was probably going to do this. My whole idea was he's probably going to defend this. Obviously, I can't take because defended by the rook. Then I might go here, and if he did, okay, so okay, bring his queen back in. That's probably the best. But say he would just do something silly, I was probably going to check my, yeah, that's the right thing. Check my rook, and then going for a check. He moves anywhere, and then I come in with a check with the rook, and then I'm actually up a lot. So yeah, there were still some threats for my opponent to consider. That's maybe the reason why I didn't push this pawn, because maybe he considered that I was going for this line. But he defended the pawn, and now I took take. I did consider that my opponent would be able to get a check and win this pawn. But I thought, like, if he leaves his defense, I'm just gonna bring my rook over here and, yeah, get this pawn and bring my rook. I'm gonna have to just abandon the ship and see if I can create like a checkmate threat. But I think Stockfish doesn't recommend it, but I think he did the wise choice. He's up. He's 3 points up. 2 points now because I got one back. He's 2 points up. 2 pawns up. Excuse me. 2 pawns. 1 point up. So it isn't actually all that bad. But I obviously didn't want to trade queens. But I went to the wrong square. I'm not quite seeing how that works. Yeah. He made a mistake. Now we're kind of equal. Yeah, obviously you don't know this, so you don't know what you're supposed to do. And I thought, like, I'm way behind. And also I was thinking, like, if only I can get this pawn. I'm 1 pawn down, and it's probably a draw, or maybe a draw. And I think I made some wrong decisions. Yeah, Stockers recommends. I was still thinking, like, it's hopeless. I need to do something about it. So maybe that's something I need to learn, that even if you're 2 pawns down, it's not hopeless. Just take this pawn somehow. And I mean, yeah, if I would have brought my rook over here, there's nothing really you can do about it. I mean, he could save it. And then I thought, like, well, I can attack it twice. Okay, not quite seeing this. Oh, tempo, yeah, but then I take it. Right? Oh, no. Okay. Okay, so it wasn't that easy to get that pawn anyway. So I'm not quite sure how Stockfish recommends going here. Hang on. Okay, so what if I went? What if I went here? No, same thing. Okay, I kind of thought like I could save this pawn somehow. Well, I didn't even think about that, but I thought like now Stockfish is recommending to save this pawn somehow. Um, but I was thinking like, and it was gonna take a long, long time. My rook can go here and here, but obviously, as soon as my rook is here, she's gonna push this pawn, and I have to go back. Then I thought like if I bring my rook over here, eventually I can bring my knight uh, over here, and then grab this pawn, and this pawn is pinned to the king. But I mean, there's like 1, 2, 3 moves, and obviously you can step away. But yeah, this is something I need to learn to not panic and don't make all kind of crazy things. But this is not even too crazy. Grab a pawn, but obviously, like my opponent can just step away. And now I was thinking to abandon his plan because obviously this queen is lined up with the king. Sorry, king is lined up. King is lined up with the queen and the knight. So I made the best move, threatening to go here, and he takes. I take with the check, win the knight. But he got out of the way. So how does this even work? Oh, and then move. Oh, then you get into the same position and you push the pawn a little bit further up the board because this is what we got into anyway. Yeah, Stokely doesn't actually like it. I was kind of thinking like maybe if he takes, I take with a check and win this pawn, but obviously I need to just get into the habit of calculating all kinds of possibilities because he just threatens to take my queen or my rook. So I'm forced to take now, and there's no way I can grab this pawn. And I made the wrong move here also. I was thinking like, I don't really want to trade the rooks, I want to get this pawn. But if I step over here, he can go here and check my pawn and I can't defend anymore and I can't actually take this pawn at the moment. So I was continuously thinking like, okay, I'm 2 pawns down. If I can win 1 pawn, I might be able to get a draw. So rather than taking the knight, rather than taking the rook, I thought like let's defend the rook. So I have my so I have my knight here defending this square. Otherwise, I was thinking like, how can I defend this pawn from getting up the board? Uh, so now this pawn is defended. So I'm trying to figure out how to save the game. But I'm 5 points down now. It's utterly hopeless, but I didn't quite see it. I was hoping that he made like what if he made one little mistake where you drop 1 pawn, I think he'd be able to get to a draw. It took the longest time of the game to figure out do I go here or here. So I made the wrong move because I thought like if I go here, okay, I thought like he's taking this and didn't actually want to get rid of this. Okay, so he said, yeah, I didn't want to get rid of this pawn because this is preventing the knight from coming in. Yeah, this is just, I mean, end games are really so difficult. Wrong move, I didn't go there, I went here. Because I thought like if he checks it here, I go here, he checks it, I take, I don't know. My brain was getting cooked. And I wanted obviously to prevent the pawn from going any further up the board. And I didn't really know what to do anymore because now I realized I'm in huge trouble. 3 pawns against 2. Yeah, and I was thinking he might go here, defended by the pawn, and I take, and he takes. what was I thinking? I thinking if he goes here, I take, he takes, I take. At least I'll win another pawn and have three isolated pawns. So I was thinking like if he, alternatively I thought I could go here, God knows do what. Stockfish actually recommends going here. But I thought like go back. Oh, I should, yeah. I should have pushed the pawn. So if he then goes here, I take, he take, I take. And still be very much losing. I obviously can't take this pawn because then he's running. Yeah, so it wouldn't have actually mattered too much, I think. I went here. And then I thought like at least he's got double pawns. But it's hopeless. I can't save it anymore. Yes, I can grab a few pawns. But now he's got a pass pawn. And obviously I was thinking about resigning. Because he's just going to push and I can't do anything about it. Yes, I can step here. But he's just going to push it up the board. So I said to him, okay, let's play it out. Let's see what you got. Let's see if you can finish it off. And just grabbing all the pawns I can get. And yeah, hoping for a stalemate. But he played it nicely. And I did it. I don't know why the Stockfish filled in the blanks, but I resigned here. Because obviously, no matter where I go, it's a checkmate. He went, or he went here, then I resigned. Because if I go here, it's a checkmate. If I go here, it's a checkmate. If I go here, okay, so what? This is a miss. This misses an opportunity to checkmate the king. Okay, I was toast anyway. So rough start. I was 2 points up. Nearly about to beat 1624, or maybe you never know what would have happened in the rest of the game because I didn't just fumble a pawn, but I made quite a few bad errors. Yeah, partially has to do with the fact that I was just disappointed in myself and you're not seeing things clearly, but that's just all part of chess. So yeah, hopefully I'll get a little bit easier of an opponent tomorrow and get a win in. Yeah, 9 rounds, 1 down, 8 to go, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.